Okay, welcome to this introductory lecture for nutrition and health. There's my contact details. I do have an office on the 9th floor of the multi-storey building, but under the current circumstances I may not be there very often, but we will meet in other ways, in person at least once a week and virtually as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about here in this lecture. Is not part of the talk content, it's an introduction to the module as a whole. So we'll look at the basic conception of the module, what it contains, a little bit on document formattation relating to the assessment, talk about referencing, and talk about teams, groups, and various other resources and activities. Okay, so welcome. Hope you enjoy this module, enjoy the course. Yeah, that's a bit scary, isn't it? We mean that literally. As we'll discuss in a little while, your transition to professionals starts now. Yeah, we're not kidding. Where do you want to be in 3 years' time? What do you want to do? Obviously, you're not going to decide now, and you'll be given plenty of opportunities to think of career opportunities that you may want to consider during the next 3 years. Food students generally have lots of opportunities, as we'll see in a little while. These are recent graduates from our food courses who are still linked to me via LinkedIn. Historically, the food courses have been very successful at placing graduates in professional careers and giving them the competencies to flourish afterwards. You notice a large number here with the word manager in job titles, the ones highlighted in red, and also the many in professions such as dietetics and teaching. And here's another set of them with various places where they work. Yeah, responsible professionals, this is you, 3 years' time. Looking forward to the future. There's another responsible professional. It's actually Emma, who's a teacher and comes in and does sessions on careers and teaching with our students. So you'll be hopefully meeting Emma, perhaps just in video form later in the year, but we'll certainly be seeing her. Okay, so becoming a professional. It's a process. During your degree, you'll accumulate demonstrable professional competencies that will help you transition into professional work and further study. We'll talk about interviews and how you can demonstrate your skills and your knowledge and your experience throughout the course of the degree. Yeah, demonstrable professional competencies, which we can define 3 broad areas: skills, knowledge, and experience, and taken together, they build to give you professional competence. These definitions of them, you can have a read them, have a think about them yourself, and we'll probably have some tutorial activities coming up to ask you to think a little bit about them. Yeah, so here's a tutorial activity. Think about the skills and knowledge needed in your career. Don't worry if you don't have a definite idea yet. You might want to work in nutrition, you might want to work in dietetics, you might want to work in the food industry. Think about the skills and knowledge and think about how you could gain relevant experience. Again, we will talk to you about these aspects throughout the course of both this module and the program in general. Okay, we'll be doing quite a lot of teamwork, either in person or in many cases because of the ongoing emergency via electronic systems such as Microsoft Teams. We have a principle for group interactions. They work on the basis of 2 thumbs up and a wish. That is, when you review someone else's work, when you talk about it, you should always start with 2 positive comments. You may add a wish. That is a suggestion of how to make the work even better. We'll ask you to make sure you do take this seriously. If nothing else, it means that you've seriously thought about other people's contributions, which is really important to produce a good rounded professional, and also to assure the university has a mutually respectful community. And there's some little bullet points there of the sort of things you might want to think about. They're in various documentations which you'll probably be sent about. I've added in B, COVID-19 secure, which I'm sure you're well aware of. Okay, so here's some examples. This could be you. I'm just going to open up a couple of them. Okay, so we've got Jodie here, who's a graduate from last year who set up her own business, My Breakfast Box, which has been featured heavily in the media. It's been in The Guardian, it's been in the Daily Mirror, it's been in the Yorkshire Post, it's been in the Independent, and it's proven a great success, and the products are really good products. Here's Emma, who's a lead MP executive at Huel, who you've probably heard of. We'll talk a little bit later on about Huel, the products that people like Huel make. She changed her mind a couple of times. She was planning to become a dietitian before falling in love with the food industry, and she's now obviously doing very well. She worked at Quorn, and she worked at another company, Glanbia, which we'll have a look at in a second, before moving down to Huel. Here's another student who recently graduated. She's actually doing MSc at the moment, so he's again running a business, producing sports supplements. You can have a look at this. You can see the F8 company, and there's a video there of Angelica being exuberant. Looking slightly different perspective, we've got a number of students former students who are involved in public health. One of them's quite a big figure in public health locally, looking at children and young people's learning. And this is the minutes for a council meeting recently where she gave a presentation. So again, we'll talk about these as various different career opportunities in the future. Okay, I'll move that out of the way. There's a few other people. I'm hoping to get quite a few of them to come in and do video presentations from a careers and job perspective, and a few of them already agreed, so hopefully more will be, you'll be getting to see more of them a bit later on in the year. Okay, so I'll look at the module content. It's in the module handbook, of course. This is a mind map of what we'll be doing. It's said to be based on things called learning outcomes. We'll talk about them in a second. Learning outcomes for nutrition and health are grouped into 4 main headings: nutrition and health, nutrition and science, are very much topic based. So, for example, we'll be looking at diet and the gut biome. Research methods in nutrition and career are more aligned to helping you develop your wider professional skills and then being able to evidence them to help you in applying for jobs and also in applying for membership of professional bodies. There's quite a lot of overlap between these two broad categories, and you will be learning about them in a continuous process throughout the module. So here's an example. Here's the food and medicine learning outcomes broken down further into subtopics. Some of the terms here might be familiar to you. You might want to also do some research in the unfamiliar terms. Don't overdo this, just seek to gain a general idea. We'll talk as we go through the module about good source of information, but you can start looking up stuff now if there's phrases you've not come across before. Okay, so assessment. We have a single assessment for each module, which will help you develop through the semester. So we'll talk in much more detail about this a bit later on, but we'll say straight away what we're going to be doing. You're going to carry out a critical review of existing public health policies and interventions. I'm going to be covering that in broad terms in lecture 1, and me and other people will look at this throughout the module. The reason for this is because it will help you develop your understanding of how public health policies are developed, implemented and evaluated. The assessment submission will be by 2,000 word research review in the style of a relevant journal. That journal being Public Health Nutrition. I should point out that when there's images in here, if you click on them, almost all the images will take you to a link. I should have said that straight away. The module team will introduce you to scientific literature around public health and nutrition and show you how you can access information. We'll also guide you through what are often quite complex documents. Your essay will be submitted electronically via Blackboard and will be in Microsoft Word format. You get a free copy of Microsoft Office, and it's essential that you download and use tools like Word and Excel. There's a video linked here to show you how to set up a standard document in Word, including cover page, page numbering, and how to generate a table of contents automatically from headings. You should consider doing this. Having a standard document which can you reuse throughout your time here without having to rebuild from scratch every time you have a new document to produce, it can be a great time saver. Some basic information from all documents, who you are, what you're doing, what the module is, what the date submitted was, etc. Okay, these are criteria we'll use to assess your submission. Again, we'll go into much more details during the module. There will be workshops on the assessment and related issues. Mahara is a tool used for collecting your personal profile. It is very useful for job applications and applications by professional bodies. There's a worldwide version of Mahara. We won't be using this, but our own TU version. Again, we'll have a session on this probably in one of the tutorials. All information you use in a report must be properly cited and referenced. So if you've got some information, you've got to say where it's come from. Not doing so is technically professional misconduct, which may have serious consequences. Perhaps not the point, proper reference and citation is a key professional skill. If you click on the library image here, it will take you to a great resource on how to do referencing. Bookmark it. There's also a short video on Mendeley, this tool here, which is a really good tool for collecting references and then producing automatic bibliographies, that is to say lists of references. As usual, we'll expand on this in various sessions. Okay, here, what you see here is the standard format for scientific publication. We'll discuss this many times throughout the course of your time here. Some of the specific words may change, for example, conclusions rather than discussion, but overall framework remains the same. If you click on the image, big image here, which is now going to appear, you can dive into public health nutrition's manuscript forming advice, which is a lot of. Don't worry too much about the details at this stage. Okay, I'm going to pause this video because we're going to about 10 minutes and then I'll do part B in a second.